There are four types of volcanoes. The first volcano type is what's called a shield volcano, and it gets its name because it's like a warrior's shield laid on the ground. It's extremely broad, but not very steep at all. This is formed by basaltic lava flows. They flow out in layer upon layer upon layer, and they run long distances away, so they can make extremely tall volcanoes like Mauna Kea in Hawaii, which is 13,000 feet above sea level, but they're extremely broad, and they have quiet eruptions because the volcano's lava just kind of pours out of it. So some examples are Kilauea in Hawaii, Surtsey in Iceland, and Kilimanjaro in Africa. These are all examples of shield volcanoes. The next type of volcano is a cinder cone volcano. You can see a cinder cone in the small picture. This is essentially made of pumice and scoria thrown out of the volcano, these sponge-like rocks, and they pile up in mounds, maybe 1,000 to 2,000 feet tall, and they create these cones. These are not extremely terrible eruptions, but they do create explosive eruptions, and the tephra piles up, creating these. The most classic example of this is Paracutin, and Paracutin is in Mexico. It's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and it was a volcano the first time that scientists got to watch a volcano form. The next type is a composite volcano. Composite volcanoes are a mix of the first two, so they're formed by lava flows, but much thicker lava than basalt, and tephra. These alternating layers of tephra and lava flows allow the volcanoes to build these very, very steep, tall cones, and we see lots of them throughout the world. One example of that would be Mount Fuji. Another one would be Mount St. Helens. This one pictured here is Mount Hood. Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. Mount Rainier. These are all examples of composite volcanoes. These have explosive eruptions. The last type is what's called a caldera. These have super explosive eruptions of the largest type that make all the other ones look like tiny little firecrackers. Now, what happens in this case, you can see in this diagram on the bottom here, is that we have a very large magma chamber. In this very large magma chamber, it's pushing upwards. It creates all these cracks and fractures, and eventually material erupts through those cracks and fractures. So much material is emptied out of this that it actually collapses in on itself, creating what's called a caldera. You can see one in this picture above. This picture above is of Crater Lake in Oregon. This was from an eruption that happened almost 8,000 years ago, and in this eruption, it basically removed about 5,000 feet of mountain above it. Just blew it away in this eruption and left behind this lake. This lake is one of the cleanest lakes in the United States or in all of North America. It's about 1,900 feet deep, and the water is so clear you can actually see 147 feet underwater. It's a world record. So that's one example, is Crater Lake. Another example, a little closer to home, is Yellowstone. Those are both examples of caldera volcanoes, the most explosive type of volcano.